My name is Frank Christensen, and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF Europe. In today's training tape, we're looking at illegal kicking. So we'll look at some plays to see when is it illegal to kick the ball, when is it illegal kicking, and when is it not? When is it just accidental touching of the ball by the lower leg or foot? So we'll look at some examples and talk a little philosophy and mechanics also. But before we get to the game film, let's have a look to see what the rulebook and the MOFO have to say on this topic. In the rulebook, we go to 944, which says, a player shall not kick a loose ball, a forward pass, or ball being held for a place kick by an opponent. These illegal acts do not change the status of the loose ball or forward pass, but if the player holding the ball for a place kick loses possession during a scrimmage down, it is a fumble and a loose ball. If during a free kick, the ball remains dead. In the MOFO, we go to 3-4-13, which says, illegally kicking the ball. If a player intentionally contacts the ball with knee, lower leg, or foot with the objective of propelling the ball in any direction, he is kicking it. There is no foul if it touches his knee, lower leg, or foot as part of an act of obtaining possession of the ball. This is not to be regarded as a kick. And that was the book. Now let's have a look at some real live examples in the game film. In this first example, we have a typical situation that we see from time to time. So a long snap that goes awry, and then the punter has to scramble around, and he, out of desperation, just ends up kicking the ball. And whether the kicker hits the ball or the defender hits the ball here, I would err on the side of saying that the kicker actually kicks the ball, even though it's tight. And we'll get another shot from the end zone angle. But this is just to illustrate that this is sometimes what happens, and we have to be ready for that. And the penalty, of course, is spot foul and a loss of down. So 10 yards from where he kicks it, loss of down. And because it typically happens on fourth down, it turns into the turnover that was coming anyway on this punt. And here's the end zone shot, and I think if I manage to freeze it at the right place, I think we can see there that he actually does manage to kick it. But again, if you have to err, I think it's better just to say that he kicked the ball, and then it ends up dying there. But again, Team B doesn't have to decline this penalty to keep the ball. They will actually get it anyway because of the loss of down and the 10-yard penalty. On this play, we also have a punt here, but this first kick was actually perfectly legal. But who knew that we were going to have a second kick right there, which would be illegal had it not been for the fact that he actually, number 49, he steps out of bounds before he kicks the ball. And if he's out of bounds, as soon as he touches the ball, then the ball is out of bounds. And touching precedes kicking. So by rule, before he manages to kick the ball, he actually touches the ball, and by touching it, the ball becomes dead, and there's no, at least in this situation, no rule against kicking the ball while it's dead, and it certainly doesn't rise to a delay of game for kicking the ball away or anything like that. So just because the coach there wants a foul doesn't mean that we have to give it to him, because actually here he steps out of bounds first. Now compare this one to this next play. Just like on the last play, we start out with a legal kick, this being a kickoff and the other one being a punt, but still a legal kick, and then it's followed by the B player kicking the ball out of bounds. Now the previous one, the player was out of bounds when he kicked the ball, and it's tough to see from this angle, but let's have a look from the end zone shot. So from here we have a much better angle to see what happens. So there it's touched by Team B, and right there he kicks the ball and he's clearly in bounds. So this is not a kick out of bounds. Well, it actually is, but not by Team A, rather by Team B. So here the player is in bounds, and this is illegally kicking the ball. On the last two plays, we'll see action that may look like illegal kicking, but in fact is not. So here, the potential returner, he simply tries to scoop up the ball, and then the ball hits his foot. This is not an intentional move by this guy to propel the ball. We want an actual swing of the leg, and we want to be able to see that it is actually intentional what he's doing. Here, it may benefit him. It certainly does benefit him, but this is not what we're looking for in illegal kicking. Now, if he had fumbled the ball here, let's say he was running with the ball and then he fumbles it, and it goes forward like this. Obviously, we would bring it back. It goes out of bounds, so we'd bring it back to the spot of the fumble, and he wouldn't gain or get this advantage. Here, because he muffs the ball, this is essentially a muff, he would get, or he will get, the out of bounds spot. So this is a very fortunate for him that he actually gains 10-15 yards, but again, it is not illegal for illegal kicking. This last play is a very unusual but yet interesting play in that it illustrates a very good point that I mean, this is not a kick. He's not intentionally kicking the ball. He's merely meeting the ball with the foot and gaining possession. So it meets several of the statements that the MoFo brings or mentions, where this is a perfectly legal interception because it is not a kick. It's merely him, the cornerback, making an interception, letting the ball hit his foot. So legal play, not illegal kicking. And that was the training tape. I hope it made sense, and I hope you found something you can use on the field.